Home passed through the grapevine trail, rode the blue coats with the wagon mail. They called it Camp Smith, just dust and bone, before it earned the name Fort Tejon. One company of dragoons rode tall, sabers curved like a canyon wall, six-shooter shining, hair grown long, and mustached faces proud and strong. On the mountain road where the cattle ran, they built a post in no man's land. Thunder rolled and the grizzlies roamed, that's how they founded Fort Tejon. Bear came crashing through the night. The horses screamed, the men took fright, but soon the muskets roared their tone, and silence fell on Fort Tejon. The locals brought them wheat and grain from valley fields after autumn rain. Ranchers drove their cattle down, trading beef for a soldier's crown. On the mountain road where the cattle ran, they built a post in no man's land. Thunder rolled and the grizzlies roamed, that's how they founded Fort Tejon. Dragoons in blue with a flash of gold, their sabers curved, their stories told. One earring glinted in the sun, guarding a land for everyone. From LA Basin to San Joaquin, this pass became the lifeline scene. They held the road, they held the line in 1854's hard time. On the mountain road where the cattle ran, they built a fort with a soldier's hand. Thunder rolled and the grizzlies roamed, that's how they founded Fort Tejon. Through dust and rain the wagons go on, Camp Smith became Fort Tejon. When the dust had settled and the flag was flown, Camp Smith was gone. Fort Tejon was home, adobe walls for the captain's kin, wooden huts and tents for the men within. Merchants came with wagon trains, selling boots, beans, and window panes. 2 saloons rose up by dawn, and 2 red light doors before too long. Cold winds blow through the canyon wide, snow drifts deep on the mountainside. Summer burns and the rivers groan, life rolls on at Fort Tejon. Bugle called when the sun was low, dragoons rode drills where the grasses grow. Wives hung laundry on the line, kids made dust angels in the pine. Traders brought their wares from town, grain from the valley, cattle down. And when August thunder filled the sky, rain washed the sweat from a soldier's eye. Cold winds blow through the canyon wide, snow drifts deep on the mountainside. life rolls on before Tejon. There were cards and whiskey, songs and fights, stories told by lantern light, of home and heart in hills unknown, under the stars of Fort Tejon. The mountain echoed hoof and drum, coyotes cry when the day was done. From adobe shade to tinted dawn, they built a life and they carried on. Cold winds blow through the canyon wide, snow drifts deep on the mountainside. Summer burns and the rivers moan, still the hearts beat at Fort Tejon, where the grapevine meets the mountain stone. You can still hear the echoes of Fort Tejon. Down in the valley where the wheat fields sway, Bill rode in at the break of day. A soldier once, now a man of land. He held the power in his weathered hand. He saw the hunger, heard the cries, the native camps beneath the skies. He promised peace, he swore reform in Tejon's hills through wind and storm. Oh, B rode high through the canyon wide, with duty burning deep inside. A land divided, hearts unknown, they called it the reservation at Tejon. The Amigdiano tilled the ground, their children played where springs were found. They built their homes from mud and clay, and prayed their lives might find a way. Grain was measured, rations sent, but promises came and promises went. Still Beale believed the dream he'd sown, a peaceful life at old Tejon. Oh, Beale rode high through the canyon wide, with duty burning deep inside. A land divided, hearts unknown, they called it the reservation at Tejon. He rode to Washington, hand in hand, to plead for justice, to guard that land. But paper words and city stone can't feed a tribe or heal what's gone. When the fort fell silent, years went dry. The people scattered, the rivers cried. Still in the wind, his name is blown, like dust that drifts through Fort Tejon. Oh, Beale rode high through the canyon wide, with hope and heartbreak side by side. A dream of peace, a name well known. He tried to hold the heart of Tejon. Deep in the canyon where the wild grapes grow, you can hear the wind whisper Beale's story and vow. Now the story goes in '58, the army thought they'd innovate. Too much sand and too much sun, so they shipped some camels one by one.
They came from Egypt, ship by sail, through storms and seas and thunder and hail. They landed west with a huff and groan, and marched their way to Fort Tejon.
Camels in the canyon, Lord, what a sight, marching through the mountains in the pale moonlight. The horses confused and the dragons looked on when the humps came up to Fort Tejon. The soldiers cursed and the mules took fright
at the smell and sound in the dead of night.
They said these beasts, they just don't belong.
But the camels hauled their loads all wrong, and
strong they carried freight through dusty terrain, till the army brass said it's too insane. They sold them off to a rancher's hands, and camels roamed the western lands. Camels in the canyon, Lord, what a sight, marching through the mountains in the pale moonlight. The horses confused and the dragons looked on when the humps came up to Fort Tejon. Through Grapevine Pass they snored and spit, the toughest road they still made it.
And locals laughed till tears were shown at the camels walking through Fort Tejon.
Now some say wild ones wandered free
through the desert wind to the salty sea,
and every now and then it's told
a hump appears in the twilight gold.
Camels in the canyon, Lord, what a sight, marching through the mountains in the pale moonlight. History's strange, but the seeds were sown when the humps came up to Fort Tejon. If you ride that pass at the break of dawn, you might hear a camel's yawn at Fort Tejon. It was dawn on a January morn, when the sky went still and the hills were torn. From Carrizo Plain to the mountain stone, the fault line thundered through Fort Tejon. The bugle fell from the drummer's hand, the horses staggered, couldn't stand. Adobe cracked, the bells were thrown when the earth moved under Fort Tejon. The earth moved 57, the valley rolled like a storm in heaven. From ridge to ridge the mountains groaned, and hearts stood still at Fort Tejon. The canyon roared like thunder's cry, ravens reeled across the sky. Walls split wide, the water shone from springs that burst near Fort Tejon. Soldiers prayed and the mothers wept, children clung where the lanterns leapt. When the shaking ceased, the day has grown and dust 57. The valley rolled like a storm in heaven. From ridge to ridge the mountains groaned, and hearts stood still at Fort Tejon. They say the San Andreas sighed that day and carved its path through rock and clay. The world remembered the record shown by the hands who rode at Fort Tejon. Now the barracks stand in the quiet air. Ghosts of courage linger there. The past still hums when the wind is blowing, with the memory born of Fort Tejon. The earth moved in 57. The valley rolled and the hills were riven, but the story stands. The seeds are sown, forever strong. Fort Tejon. When the mountains sleep and the coyotes roam, you can feel the heart of Fort Tejon. When the guns fell silent and the troops rode east, the walls went bare and the fields were leased. Adobe cracked where the grass had grown, and time moved on through Fort Tejon. Windswept years and wagon trails, stagecoach wheels and merchant tales. The ridge route rose where the cattle roamed, and dust kept guard on Fort Tejon. But the fort still stands where the passes meet, between the wild wind's sigh and the traveler's feet. Though the years roll by and the names are gone, you can still hear the heart of Fort Tejon. Ranchers came and the herds rolled wide. Children played where the dragoons died. The road kept calling, the world moved on, but the story stayed at Fort Tejon. Then one bright day in 39, the ranch gave back what once was thine. The flag was raised, the people shone, the past reborn at Fort Tejon. And the fort still stands where the passes meet, between the wild wind's sigh and the traveler's feet. Though the years roll by and the names are gone, you can still hear the heart of Fort Tejon. Now children learn and soldiers play in uniforms from yesterday. The bugle calls when the sun has shone, and the echoes wake old Fort Tejon. Oh yes, the fort still stands where the passes meet, between the wild wind's sigh and the traveler's feet. Long after thunder and time have flown, the song lives on in Fort Tejon. Deep in the canyon where the wild grapes grow, the fort still stands where the warm winds blow.